every Sunday. Basically, the political spotlight will shed light on issues across Nigeria's political landscape in every sector. And of course, we'll talk about individuals and parties, persons and government authorities who influence most of the situations that occurs in Nigeria's polity. Obviously, we get your recommendations as well and reaction too. And then, of course, we have analysts right here in the studio, or sometimes join us virtually over the telephone, where they give us their own insights into some of these issues. We also look at a broader perspective, that is the story behind the story. What exactly are we talking about? What could be behind it? And give recommendable or credible logistical analysis towards some of these issues. That is, we try to look at the logic behind some of this information that comes out within the Nigerian political landscape. And so once again, welcome to the program. My name is Esther Nwachukwu. If you are joining us for the very first time, congratulations. This is the People's Radio, where we give the voice to the people for people to express themselves and air their opinions on what they think about how governance affects them. And we try to keep it clean as possible here. Objective analysis we actually do right on this platform. No incendiary comments, no inciting statements, no derogatory or denegatory statements, because you know that we are properly regulated, and so we must keep it civil as best as possible. So if you also want to be virtually part of the conversation, come on to YouTube. All right, we stream all our content on YouTube, so you are definitely not backdated. You are always updated. The YouTube channel is VOP 90.3 FM. VOP 90.3 FM. That is Voice of the People 90.3 FM. And obviously, you can follow us across the social media handles at VOP 903 FM. Okay. And of course, me as well. You can follow me on YouTube, Estiq Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQ MEDIA. ESTIQ MEDIA. On Instagram is Esther Nwaz, ESTANWAZ. On Twitter is at Esther Nwachukwu. That's ESTA Esther, right? Not ESTHER. ESTANWACHUKW. All right, at Esther Nwachukwu on X. Facebook as well is Esther Nwachukwu. So let's kick off with the conversation this evening. My guest is in the studio. I'll definitely be introducing him very soon. Now, it's a congratulatory effort on the Nigerian police force, where they finally confirmed the arrest of a popular, or rather, okay, no, let's not go on there. First of all, I want to talk about the fact that our security agencies are actually doing quite well. You know that more details emerged concerning how security agents rescued the 20 abducted medical students and 7 others in Benue State. Now, if you recall, last week it was trending on X, where one of the medical students tweeted, one of them who was abducted tweeted and said that this is how much they're asking. They are rallying for crowdfunding to secure the release. And the Nigerian said, what? Where's the Nigerian police force? They were tagging them. This is what's going on. Track the whereabouts of these individuals via this phone or account that this person tweeted from, and that was where it began. Now, the Nigerian police force did not tell us anything, but we just know that they were putting up efforts to ensure that these abducted medical students were released, and trust me, they actually did the needful. Well, according to the Nigerian police force on Sunday, they gathered that one of the suspected kidnappers was shot dead by the combined operators consisting of the military, men of the Department of State Services and the police. 2 suspects were arrested. The 20 students, who are from the University of Maiduguri and the University of Jos, were traveling to Enugu for the Federation of Catholic Medical and Dental Students annual convention when they were kidnapped by these bandits. The abduction generated an outcry, which made the Inspector General of Police, Kaede Egbetokun, order the deployment of tactical operatives and assets, including helicopters, drones, and tactical vehicles, to ensure the swift response and rescue of the victims. Also, based on the report given by Adejobi Ademuyiwa, one of the things he also stated was the fact that they were able to get the spot on Friday where the kidnappers tried to shield themselves with the victims, but with massive pressure, they tried to escape, and in the process, one of them was neutralized and 2 apprehended. Another source who corroborated the account also disclosed to the Punch that they were immediately, as the medical students were immediately taken to Abuja, and they should be reunited with their loved ones by Monday or Tuesday. So I would say that is congratulations to the Nigerian security operatives for helping to ensure that the students were rescued. And the fresh facts that emerged also made it quite important for us to know that if the Nigerian police wants to do the needful when it comes to their duty to protect lives, to rescue, they actually know what to do. All right, regardless of some of the bad eggs amongst them, if they indeed are tactical, if they indeed intend to do their jobs, they will do their jobs, and they will do it appropriately well. Beyond that, they'll also try as much as possible to disclose the individuals behind this. Although these individuals who were nabbed, that is the bandits, they did not disclose their names. We only saw pictures on social media of their faces, but they didn't tell us their names, their locality, what state they're from, what tribe they belong, where they reside. All of that information has not yet been released, so we're waiting more information to come up from that. Meanwhile, still in a collaborative effort, the troops were able to nab the alleged terrorists who were linked to the murder of a traditional ruler and his son in Taraba. I'm sure you recall that particular story as it trended across social media, even on our traditional media platform, where one of the traditional rulers was abducted. His son was the one who actually told those, that is the security operatives, after he was released, after a fine was actually paid or a ransom was paid, that a particular lawmaker was the one responsible for it. And based on that particular lawmaker was, questioned by the Nigerian intelligence agency or the Nigerian police force, where he denied that he was not involved in the alleged kidnapping or abduction of that particular traditional ruler. While the arrests include individuals linked to the killing of a traditional ruler and his son in Taraba State, which marks a significant breakthrough in ongoing efforts to combat crime and terrorism in the region. Now, the captain there, that is the Assistant Director of Army Public Relations for the 6th Brigade, Captain Olubodunde Oni, actually said that they conducted these operations across various local government areas within the state, and that it was quite a beautiful one. They were able to get most of these kingpins arrested. And of course, they said that one of the key arrests was that of a thief militia kingpin whose name is Mela Salim, who is believed to have masterminded the killing of the traditional ruler of Chanchangi and his son at Jakindo village in the Takum local government area of the state. Also, it highlighted a significant raid on August 18, 2024 in Takum local government area, where troops acting on credible intelligence arrested a suspected kidnapper named David Musa. So investigations reveal that Musa is associated with a notorious kidnap kingpin known as Ephraim, also called Skin the Body. And the explanation stated that currently they are undergoing further investigation to uncover more details about the criminal network. So once again, we'll say congratulations to the Nigerian Security Agency, specifically this intelligence gathering and rescue of the students, as well as apprehending the bandits who killed the traditional leader, as well as abducting his son. So I want to say again, congratulations to them. They did a good job. We hope that this continues. All right, but in the midst of all of this, there's a lot actually happening, and it's quite interesting for us to talk about it, because it's imperative for us to talk about it. Sometimes on this platform, when you guys call on the program, when I mean you guys are amiable listeners, you always allege that the presenters speak on behalf of the government. And when you make some of these statements, we look at you and say, when I don't know anything really happen, or when I don't know, say journalists are not protected in this country. Everybody is on their own, literally speaking. So if anything happens, you'll be in your abode resting. You will not galvanize support. You will not galvanize for anybody to come and rescue us. All right, so we need to be careful when we dispense some of this information, especially if they're quite delicate. It's quite important. And if we do not get any information from the source, which is from the agencies responsible for that particular information, we cannot really elaborate or talk about it. All right, traditional media is different from social media. Social media does not have any censorship for now. All right, so whatever it is that circulates there, if it's not coming from an authentic source from the government to either corroborate or denounce or distance themselves from that information, we cannot talk about it expediently here. You have to know that we have a location here. We have a body that regulates us. The DSS is also monitoring. All the agencies are monitoring. We have a guidelines that guides us. So all of these are the things we need to stick up to. So when you call in sometimes and you downplay the effort and the risk we put ourselves out there, it's really depressing when you make some statements. But hey, these are the, will I say, this is part of the job. All of this is part of the job, and so we absorb it and continue to do what we know how to do. So the Nigeria Police Force subjected Isaac Bristol. Now, he is a microblogger and a journalist who is known as a whistleblower. It's quite important that we need to understand who this individual is. Now, there's this X account called 99% Oppressed. This particular X account releases classified information that the traditional security agencies would not let the press know. Information that certain persons within the corridors of power will never allow, all right, to circulate on social media. Very sensitive information that this man releases. Now, we do not know how authentic some of these things or some of the information he releases are, but he tries to put out receipts. Okay, he tries to put out receipts to let us know that his information is not fake news, that it is authentic. Most instances, the individuals who are behind some of this information usually come out to denounce or debunk and distance themselves and say it's false. But PDM Nigeria is known as somebody who tries to speak for the voiceless. You know, that's what he does. He exposes some of the rot within political sectors. He exposes the rot in the government, exposes the rot in what the people in power actually do. And then, of course, a lot of Nigerians are abreast with what is really going on. But the question is that, are some of this leaked information necessary, especially some of those ones that are quite sensitive? How do we authenticate the genuinity of some of this information? And it's quite a lot. But with what has currently happened, it validates that most of this information that PDM Nigeria, also known as Isaac Bristol, may actually be true. So on Friday, an intervention team involving Omoyele Sowore, David Hundeyin, Raphael Adebayo, Deji Adeyanju, and FIJ were able to establish that the Force Criminal Investigation Department housed Bristol after the National Cybercrime Center tracked and abducted him from Isaac after, you know, some of his friends or persons close to him could eventually have access to him. Isaac told the representatives of his team that the police abducted and kept him in solitary confinement for at least 6 days in an anti-kidnapping unit before transferring him to a different facility. He later ended up in the SCID's custody. Adeyanju, who saw Isaac in custody on Friday, told FIJ, that is in a telephone interview, that the microblogger relayed how the police broke into his house and abducted him. He told us, according to what Deji Adeyanju said, I'm quoting, I'm reading out what he said. He said, he told us they came like armed robbers. They were dressed in mufti, about 15 policemen. They broke in and dragged him away like a criminal. They threw him into a hole somewhere in an anti-kidnapping unit of the police. There, they denied him food, water, and access to other human beings. He was in solitary confinement for at least 6 days, and they kept handcuffs on him throughout. He showed us his wrists. They were bruised from wearing handcuffs for that long. They did not allow him access to a lawyer or family members. Now, Adeyanju also said he saw Isaac in the same clothes the police abducted him in. The microblogger had worn the same piece of clothing for at least 18 days. Now, with the police demanding 2 level 16 civil servants who owned landed property worth at least 500 million naira in Abuja as sureties for Isaac's bail, the conditions for his release are stringent. Now, on Friday afternoon, FIJ had called Muyiwa Adejobi, that is the police force's public relations officer, but he said he was unaware of the matter. Adejobi then promised to get back to the newspaper as at that particular time. Well, I think last night or early on today, Adejobi was able to confirm that they have Isaac Bristol within their custody. And according to what Adejobi said, based on the information he released to the press, he said they explained it why they arrested Bristol. Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the spokesperson for the Nigerian Police Force, in a statement on Saturday, said that PDM was arrested in his hotel room in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, in a well-coordinated action by the Police National Cybercrime Center. Adejobi, an assistant commissioner of police, said Pidom was arrested over involvement in leakage of government documents. The police spokesperson said Pidom was arrested on the 5th of August. He added that operations of Pidom was undermining the integrity of government operations. Now, in a statement on Saturday by the Force Public Relations Officer, he said that the effort of the police was well coordinated and that he was apprehended. The crimes against him are allegations of committing serious offenses, undermining the government operations, and the arrest took place on the 5th. Also, Muyiwa Adejobi said that there are several allegations leveled against the suspect, which include unlawful possession, leakages of classified documents, cyber-related offenses, and others, and that they will do all that is due in terms of diligence in carrying out thorough investigation into the cases. That the force will leave no stone unturned to continually enforce the law and bequeath to Nigerians a more secure nation. Now, that is in the case of Pidom Nigeria, okay? Meanwhile, there's also an ex-BBC journalist or editor. In this case, his name is Soyinka. He was arrested today, very early in the morning at 5:40 a.m., just as he landed at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, which got a lot of people talking that what exactly is going on? Why is there a clampdown or an arrest on either whistleblowers or investigative journalists? Are we saying that it's a crime to be an investigative journalist or become a whistleblower? There's quite a lot, going on at the moment. Well, his name is Adejuwon Soyinka. He was arrested by operatives of the Department of State Services. According to a distress message that was sent by one of his friends to Punch newspaper, Soyinka was apprehended shortly after arriving from the United Kingdom. At the time of his arrest, no reason was provided for his arrest, and he has since been held in Communicado. The incident occurred around 5:40 a.m. on Sunday, which is today. Now, when Punch tried to contact the DSS spokesperson Peter Afunaya, he said he was unaware of the arrest of Soyinka. Again, I told you when this happened, it got a lot of people talking. Eventually, though, I think at precisely 12:40 something p.m. today, the DSS they were able to confirm the release of the journalist on condition of his release. Now, apparently, we know that Soyinka is an editor for West African Regional. He's the editor for the Conversation Africa. That's West African regional editor of the Conversation Africa, and he was detained for over 6 hours. Soyinka, while he was detained, said there was quite a lot that they wanted to find out from him. He was transported from the international airport to DSS headquarters annex in Ikoyi, Lagos, where he remained in detention until around 12:30 p.m. when he was granted bail. According to sources who spoke with Premium Times, the International Press Institute played a key role in securing Soyinka's release. Now, the DSS imposed several bail conditions, including the confiscation of his passport. Soyinka was also required to provide his Nigerian address and a reliable phone number for future contact. Soyinka has been able to confirm his release in a message that he sent to Premium Times, stating that he was freed from detention around 1:26 p.m. today. So he wrote a text: "I have just been released by the DSS in Lagos. They are holding on to my passport though. In an Uber ride ordered for me by the Deputy Director of DSS in Lagos." Now, while all of this is going on, right, there's quite a lot that took place. On Twitter or X, the conversation was something else. Everywhere went haywire. Where is Pidom? What is going on with this administration clamping down on persons who speak? But the question is, should freedom of information or the freedom of expression be to the detriment of a lot of people? For some of you who don't know Pidom, I'm going to play an interview that was conducted on one of the television stations, and they interviewed David Hundeyin, who is also an investigative journalist, currently not resident in the country. You know that for you to do this kind of business, you cannot be resident in Nigeria. That's what a lot of people are saying. Why will Pidom be doing this kind of investigative journalism that is quite sensitive and reside within this country? You know what happened to persons who expose quite a lot in government. Well, here is what David Hundeyin said in explaining what transpired. You're going to also hear the voices of some of the presenters or anchors asking questions, further questions on the continued detention of PDOM Nigeria, also known as Isaac Bristol. So let's hear from David Hundeyin himself.
He is an anonymous whistleblower, primarily using Twitter, who gets information from up to and including the highest levels of government and puts them out to the public in the interest of the public. So the name PDOM is an acronym that actually stands for People in Distress or Missing, right? So because that was how the handle got started. It started as a sort of counter effort to people who were getting kidnapped. So it was like a sort of one man's effort to try and sort out these problems. Now, sometime on Thursday morning, which is 3 days ago now, I checked my Twitter account, as I often do, and I saw a message from this handle. Bearing in mind that I hadn't spoken to this guy in a couple of weeks, we had a bit of a fallout, but that's a story for another day. So I saw a message from him, and I opened the message, and the message said, actually, this isn't PDOM. And it was someone claiming to be someone close to him. And supposedly, this person said that the instruction from PDOM was to hand over the Twitter account to me, that PDOM apparently had been arrested in Port Harcourt and had been transferred to the Force Criminal Investigation Department in Abuja under the auspices of the National Cybercrime Center of the Nigerian Police Force. And supposedly, PDOM's instructions were that this account should be handed over to me and that I should keep on I should use the account and basically impersonate him, pretend to be him, and that in doing so, that would somehow create an alibi for him, which would sort of get him off. And the evidence that was provided for this was an administrative bail sheet. And supposedly the instruction was log into his account, start tweeting in his voice, act as if everything is all right, and somehow that will be used as an alibi in the Nigerian Police Force. Now, obviously, being that I wasn't born yesterday, I immediately smelled a rat. Because first of all, I took a look at the administrative bail sheet. The surety that was demanded was either a federal civil servant, a level 16 civil servant, with a property worth 500 million naira, which is mathematically impossible for a level 16 civil servant to own legally, or a private business person with property worth 500 million naira in the FCT, who would then have to drop their tax clearance certificate, their CAC certificate, and it's basically an impossible set of bail conditions, right? They had no intention of letting this person go. Bearing in mind that 500 million naira is 200 million naira more than the bail amount that was set for Godwin Emefiele, the former CBN governor. So clearly there was no intention to let this person go. And I instantly suspected that I was speaking to an intelligence operative or at the very least someone working for the government pretending to be close to PDOM. So the instruction from this person was, do not go public with this under any circumstances. Keep this hush-hush, pretend to be him. And then the person sent me login details, which kept failing, but eventually he or she sent me a login detail which actually worked, and I actually gained access to PDOM's account. So immediately I gained access to the account, I immediately changed the account password and two-factor authentication so that only I had access to it. So I basically locked everybody else out of the account who might have been logged into the account. And then as soon as that happened, all of my, not all, but most of my personal accounts and devices started having security problems. Someone started trying to hack into my WhatsApp. Someone started trying to hack into my Telegram. I don't know how many attempts were made to hack into my Twitter. A sort of very suspicious two-factor authentication code was sent to my WhatsApp, which I was later informed could potentially be something called a zero-click exploit. A zero-click exploit is a type of malware which is sent to your phone, which you don't actually have to click on or open, which is why it's called a zero-click exploit, which is a very expensive thing to do, by the way. And as far as I'm aware, only state-level actors have access to that sort of a spyware, which is sold by Israeli groups like NSO Group. As a result of that, I've actually had to replace most of my devices between Thursday and today due to security concerns. So I decided that the only thing that makes sense to do in this situation is to go public with it, because based on the fact that whoever this person is that I was speaking to has given me access to Pidom's account, so I know for a fact that Pidom cannot be safe. Something has to be going on here. So I went public with it. I put all this information out on my Substack, which goes out to, I think, 50,000 subscribers or so. And yeah, the very next day, bear in mind that this is someone who was supposedly taken in on the 5th of August. So that's more than 2.5 weeks now. The very next day, when this story started going everywhere, it became a national story. Then the police, for the first time, came out and acknowledged that they actually supposedly have this person in custody who they suspect of being Pidom after 2.5 weeks. Bear in mind that under Nigerian law, you're not supposed to be detained for more than 48 hours without charge.
Okay.
2.5 weeks without sitting in front of a judge. Finally, they acknowledged it, and then they rushed out a statement saying that they're going to take him to court next week, which we don't
David, if you don't mind, David,
Twitter account or Gmail account, whoever is currently logged into that account can see the location of any attempted logins. So it could be, first of all, that someone was trying to get hold of my location, first of all, and then secondly, the instruction to log into the account of a missing person and pretend to be them. If I had done that, if I'd been foolish enough to do that, that could well have been a successful attempt to rope me into some sort of criminal case, potentially with the international ramifications.
Another thing is, at this time, you hadn't identified exactly where Pidom was, so he's still missing at this time. But now that the police has come out to tell exactly that they have arrested him, have they indicated exactly why he was arrested in the first place?
What crimes did he commit?
Or the crimes that he committed?
So the force spokesperson, Muyiwa Adejobi, released a statement yesterday where he claimed, amongst other things, that this person was arrested for involvement in subversive activity, whatever that may mean. In fact, let me read out the statement. So it says, in a well-coordinated effort, officials from the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center apprehended Bristol Isaac Tamuno B. Efiri, also known as Pidom, on allegations of committing serious offenses that undermine the integrity of government operations. There are several allegations leveled against the suspect, including unlawful possession, leakage of classified documents, cyber-related offenses, and others. So essentially what he's being accused of is being a whistleblower, because that's what whistleblowers do. They get hold of classified information and release them to the public.
Now that that's identified, they also released a picture. Now, you mentioned that Pidom is, until now, anonymous. Can you confirm who this person was, this picture that was released? Would you like to confirm if this is Pidom or not?
It's impossible for me to say, because the kind of relationship we had never involved him sharing such information with me. So he never shared his government name with me, never shared his photograph, never shared his address, his actual physical location, he never shared his family situation. So we were friends on the internet, and we're friends by virtue of the connectedness of the work that we do, and we collaborated a number of times. But so it will be impossible for me to say that this is or is not Pidom.
A television interview today. Yes, that's what precisely today. One of the television stations with David Hundeyin, who is an investigative journalist, and you can hear him give you all the details, how he was contacted, how some of his profiles were almost hacked, and that was how he knew that something was wrong. Now, there are key factors here for you to understand. Pidom, or supposedly Isaac Bristol, was arrested on the 5th of August. since then, nobody knew his whereabouts. Since he was taken and kept within the custody of the Nigerian police force, nobody knew anything until David Hundeyin was contacted. Now, David Hundeyin knew that something was up. He took over the account when they sent him some login details, and that was when he knew something was up, and that was when he exposed everything. It is after that exposition, persons in the polity and freedom fighters, human rights association members were requesting for Isaac Bristol's appearance. They were asking the DSS operators, they were asking the Nigerian police force, they were asking the Nigerian military to provide Isaac Bristol. And one of such persons was former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, asking that he be provided as soon as possible, because when you apprehend or arrest an individual on whatever crime, he's meant to have legal representation. His family members are meant to know where he is or his whereabouts. And so for almost 2 weeks or 18 days, nobody knew where Isaac Bristol was. So it was after the situation when the Nigerian police was contacted. Initially, they did not say anything. It was later on today that it disclosed to us that indeed they had PDOM Nigeria, that is Isaac Bristol, within their custody. I'm sure you heard Ademuyiwa Adejobi disclosed there the reason why they have PDOM Nigeria. It's quite a lot actually taking place within the Nigerian polity. And just last night, right, we saw the information where Abubakar tendered, that is Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, tendered his resignation. We're like, what? I mean, it's an anomaly in this part of the world for key position holders, office persons who work with the government, to on their own, all right, resign. Everybody always thinks that there is something more behind it. And when he was asked by a journalist who works with the Nigerian Television Authority, according to what Abubakar said, he did not really give any specific reason per se. He just said it's a routine thing from time to time to brief the president on situations, and that today is no exception. After the briefing today, I tendered my resignation, and Mr. President graciously approved and accepted the resignation. And everybody was like, what exactly is going on within the Secret Service that would make this man resign? Is there some cleanup going on in the house? Because there have been quite a lot of complaint on some leakages that comes out. For example, some personal private documents. You know how the leakage of the transfer of 580 million naira, which was orchestrated by Betta Edu, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. We saw that leak when she was instructing the Accountant General of the Federation to transfer those monies to certain accounts which were mentioned, and everybody was wondering where did that leak come from. So because of that and a couple of other leaks too, the speculation was rife as to, could this be the reason why the director, the National Intelligence Agency DG, resigned? Could it be a house cleaning? Well, there are a lot of talks on that. Omoyele Sowore has said what he thinks is the issue, and another activist and whistleblower whose name is Madi Shehu now gave inside details of the NIA's, as the Nigerian Intelligence Agency DG's, resignation. According to the whistleblower on Saturday, he said that Ahmed Rufai, who held the position since April 2017, was a key figure among former President Buhari's appointees, known for his influence. Madi claimed that Rufai's resignation traces back to 2017, when a sting operation was orchestrated by certain Northern Power brokers involving the then EFCC chairman Ibrahim Magu. According to him, the operation targeted the NIA's Lagos office, which resulted in the controversial removal of large sums of money, which is about $43 million and 34 million pounds. I don't know how to transfer this in naira, so maybe while we're having this conversation, you can help me Google it. Mahdi alleged that part of the operation's intent was to create a vacancy at the NIA, ultimately leading to Ahmed Rufai's appointment as Director General, despite an ongoing court case by Ambassador Eke Ayodele, the former Director General of the NIA. Mahdi noted that Ayodele was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing in 2023 and was ordered by the court to be reinstated. He suggested that political considerations, particularly the upcoming, at the time, it was the upcoming 2023 presidential elections, influenced the decision to retain Ahmed Rufai in his position temporarily. So in other words, according to what this whistleblower is saying, that Ahmed Rufai, that is the DG of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency, had actually resigned a long time ago. But due to the upcoming 2023 elections, he was retained a bit. Maybe there were certain things they wanted him to do for them. We don't know. We cannot verify that. But this is what this whistleblower is saying. He also hinted that promises were made by the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to reinstate Ayodele after the elections. So Madi wrote on his X, in April 2017, in a deliberately designed sting operation to create a vacuum by force and subterfuge at the NIA, initiated by Sabiu Tunde and two other northern cabals, Magu, the then EFCC chairman, using an insider informant from NIA operations unit, was drafted to invade the Lagos operational office of the NIA, which he forcefully broke into and removed $43 million and 34 million pounds. Money day this country. I tell you now. We did suffer our head for nothing. If you hear my salary, you go say what? You go shock. So apparently, based on what Madi is revealing, $10 million was allegedly reported to have been stolen out of the recovery when it was taken for custody at the CBN by an NIA account staff who was silently transferred out. He said, "Don't ask me if the $10 million was returned." Even before the report of the presidential investigation was submitted, and in spite of the existing court case instituted by Ayodele Eke, Buhari was misled into appointing Ahmed Rufai as the new DG NIA. So, as a reward, Tunde Sabiu, who was never a member of the intelligence community, was rewarded with the post of assistant director at the NIA, while still holding the post of PA to C and posted to the villa. To date, he is a staff of the NIA, just to give him a soft landing. So, Ayodele, who was suspended in April 2017 by Buhari, pending the outcome of the investigation, went to court to contest his indictment arising from Magu's raid. In 2023, AK Ayodele from any wrongdoing and ordered that he be reinstated back to his seat as Director General, Nigerian Intelligence Agency, being a statutory tenure appointment with constitutional favor. Also, even after Tinubu was declared winner, retained Ahmed Rufai in appreciation to his role, but behind the scenes assuring AK Ayodele of his plans to implement the court order that people will say all this is grammar, but that is what Madi is revealing, that there was something more behind the resignation of the National Intelligence Agency DG, that there is need for a vacancy to be created for somebody that was promised that position, and that is why he resigned. Now, according to what the NIA DG said, he said it was due to family reasons. That's what he disclosed to the journalist, the correspondent who interviewed him right there at the quarter. He actually asked him and said, "Why would you resign?" Because they know it is not ideal for this kind of things to take place between government officials. I want to play you what he said so you understand that he actually made this disclosure, and Nigerians were actually surprised at that. Just take a listen to the former supposed resigned National Intelligence Agency Director General.
There are quite a number of reasons one will do that. Some personal, family issues, but nothing very serious actually. And the friendship will continue. I discussed with Mr. President. He understood very well, and I promised to remain seized with issues and the security situations.
So that was the former Director General of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency there, saying that the president understood, and it was, due to personal reasons, which the president was able to, the president accepted, the president did accept his resignation. And like I said, a lot has transpired in that particular regard. Omoyele Sowore too did not mince words in disclosing what he thought was the due reason as to the resignation of the NIA. In the midst of all of this, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to see how he can get back his northern support. You know that the northerners have said they're not going to support the president anymore because they feel that quite a lot that transpired is not being meted out. Promises made are not being manifested, and they feel that they gave the president the platform, or rather it was their support or their vote that made the president to win the 2023 general elections, and that right now the president is not doing the needful. So one of such persons that spoke recently based on a meeting that they had was Elisha Abo. Apparently they're planning a new pressure group. The pressure group, according to what Elisha Abo, is like a rebirth. Nigeria is trying to birth a new political pressure group, and they were really revealing their next line of action. I want us to take a brief listen to Elisha Abo.
The man who owned the fowl we feel strongly that the man who owned the fowl should not eat the head. We feel strongly that the North chunked out over 63.3% of total vote cast in favor of the current administration, and we believe that the North also could have been compensated when it comes to projects and other issues. However, what we meet to discuss today is the future of the North as a League of Northern Democrats, irrespective of our party affiliation. You see SDP, PDP, Labour Party, all of us we met today. And the communique will be made available to the press as the convener and the chair of the occasion have already put across.
What would you consider as the biggest challenge confronting?
All right, that was Elisha Abo there speaking based on the fact that they do not trust the president anymore, and speaking from the fact that they gave the president 95% of the vote, but they are not seeing the effort that they put in place in ensuring that the president, eventually became the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So in particularly, in that regard, we've seen, the northern leaders galvanizing. We've seen them coming out to complain a lot about his administration, saying that his administration has been so ethnic in some ministerial appointments, some top positions within his cabinet, and they feel it's not federal character representative. But it's surprising because is it the North that constitutes all the region of the Federation of the Republic of Nigeria? It's surprising why they always, complain and think that the country belongs to them. Well, anyways, based on that, actions are being taken by the president as northern leaders are already opposing re-election. Now, Tinubu has not come out to say he's going to contest for 2027. All right. We don't know if he's going to be the flag bearer. That's just a thing. We don't know if he's going to be the flag bearer. But the only thing we're very certain of is this. With the way things are, a couple of northern elites and supporters who supported Buhari, right, don't think they can support the APC. So they know that if this administration lacks the support of the northern region, there's a possibility that maybe APC may not be considered as a viable party come 2027. So it's going to be disastrous not only for the president but any other candidate they decide, all right, to put in place ahead of 2027. And so already efforts are being made to see how they can, cement that porosity or that vacuum created. Now the president has reportedly initiated measures to regain the backing of the northern political leaders. He became the president, as we do know how he became the president, while moves have begun to commence to regain the support of northern leaders and those aggrieved with his administration. Apparently 25 close aides of the president disclosed that several initiatives were being implemented and new ones created. Also, the cabinet of the president is insisting that they are not afraid of any political or pressure group, but the sources are asserting that the plan was to counteract the recent actions of some northern leaders opposed to his re-election in the 2027 poll. So again, the president has not cited anything about 2027. He has never said anything about contesting in 2027. All right, he has always maintained that he's focusing on giving true administration. However, efforts are being made. A team of delegates are being put in place to ensure that, they're able to reignite the romantic relationship with the northern elites who are no longer happy with this administration. My guest in the studio this evening is Mr. Elvis Elimehele, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. And these issues that we reeled out today, I'm so sorry if I spoke too fast, but the issues I read out today are quite very important. Mr. Elvis Elimehele is a journalist, all right, also a political national affairs commentator, and most times he actually is here physically in the studio. And if he's not here, he joins me virtually via the telephone to analyze some of these issues. Mr. Elvis Elimehele, good evening and welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, Esther. Good evening, our listeners and our viewers on YouTube. You're welcome again.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Elvis. Let's start off with this, because before they'll say there's plenty grammar. I'm sure you've heard all I have said, all the intro, all that I read, yes. And then you heard what what's his name, David Hunde, actually disclosed. Somebody was apprehended for almost 2 weeks. For the first 6 days, he was denied food and water, handcuffed for that 6 days, put in a hole, and left in his own, what you call his own excrement and all of that stuff. And the idea is to see how they can get psychologically, emotionally, whatever method they can use to get every information, all right, from him. All the persons who have been sending him those secrets, all the persons who have contributed whatsoever, they even said that his crypto accounts, that was basically how they found him out. Because remember that after the End Bad Governance protest, the Nigerian police said that they have been able to block some accounts that were connected to the End Bad Governance protest, both those who contributed, those who sponsored the protest. And I heard that was basically how he was abducted. You can't call this an arrest because there was no legal representative. You also heard David Hunde say how much they were asking for bail. And it's possible that you can have several petitions against him whereby, if at all he meets one bail condition, another security agency is waiting outside, like they did with Emefiele, to rearrest him for more questioning. So it's going to be a long battle with him. But he's been seen after almost 2 weeks eventually, and he was able to explain to his team. We also saw what happened with Shoyinka, the other investigative journalist. And Nigerians are asking the question, is this a repressive government? Is this a clampdown on freedom of expression or information? Are we saying now that investigative journalism can no longer hold sway? And what is the modus operandi after arresting? You deny somebody of legal representation, no call to any family member, completely debased him of his human rights. Does this validate all of this information that he's been putting out there for public consumption?
Esther, it's so sad that our brothers in the same profession that we are into are being treated in this form. Remember, one of the best form of journalism is investigation and looking for exclusive. And you don't get exclusive in journalism if you don't have anything you are investigating. By the time your investigation comes out, it becomes exclusive story. And everybody that is even with the president now, who are part of, meting out this drastic situation to journalists, were also with the president when the president was in the trenches, seeking to get information from military governments, to hack the military government there when we were, clamoring for democracy. Unfortunately, we got the democracy now, and he has risen to the climax, to the peak of the democracy he so fought for, in quotes. But this is what is now being meted out on innocent journalists trying to eke out a living in their respective profession. As at then, even part of the time that he, went on exile, that they came up with a radio coup d'etat. Remember, what were they broadcasting? They were broadcasting those kind of information that they are not calling leaked information that they were seeking from the military administration. Then they want to get the next trend of their plans and release it to the to the Nigerian masses that this is the plan of the military. And that is what investigation journalism is all about. People have to know what's actually going on with the government, because in this part of the world, Esther, you will agree with me that the government has so come up with so much lies before the people. So even when the government officials are talking, the people don't really see any element of truth in what they tell us. So they rely on getting more advanced information to actually know what they are telling us if it is true. So somebody of this nature now, Isaac Bristol, that is incarcerated and he's dehumanized, because he's doing his job. And Esther, you look at the scenario behind it. Over 2 weeks, it was not even reported in the local media.
No, obviously.
No local media.
It's not for the fact that Elvis. So mainstream media, even David himself did not know. Yes. According to him, if you heard what he said, he said there was a fallout.
Yeah,
he said there was a fallout.
Probably that it was called that fallout that he was not.
He didn't follow up. Yeah, there was nothing. He just stopped posting.
Yes, he was not, because he was not following up with the guy. Otherwise, maybe he would have gotten this story before now. I know David is versatile in these kind of issues. That's to tell you that the media these days are not dining with the government, unfortunately.
Dining with the government?
Yes, part of the media. That's why this story was not picked before now. Esther, this was supposed to be a story that any media would have punched and would have been able to say, oh, this is doing a good job. What's talking Nigerian journalists everywhere? We have to actually look at it. Where have we got it
Mr. Elvis, do you know what happens to persons who expose certain things that the security agency does not want exposed? They will pick you up. Sometimes they will clamp down on your license. They would use whatever means at their disposal to limit you.
We have had these situations worse even the military era. Media houses were closed. Journalists were picked. But they were still doing their job. Let me tell you, on a Sunday evening like this, some of the magazines then, the military will be like everywhere. Directorate of Military Intelligence, DMI, they will be everywhere at newsstand, waiting for the magazines to come out, the News Watch and all this one, Africa Guardian and all that, to come out, Concord. Immediately they see copies, they confiscate it. It was as bad as that. But because they know that these people have gotten information about them that that will come out in that week edition. They confiscate it right on the street. At the time you will see some of these magazines, they will not even carry their master. They'll print it like newsprint and just come and, for Nigerians to be aware of the information. I mean, what is going on within the government circle. It's not a crime. It's not a crime in journalism. When you say you are looking for exclusive, you are looking for topmost information to give to the people. Unfortunately, but this guy was picked up since 5th of this month. Nobody was aware of it. That's why I said it's like, are we relaxing in doing our job? That's the question I'm asking Esther. This is a colleague. You understand? Now the matter has entered the press now, and most newspapers and radio and television will now begin to use it as headline because it has gotten to them. Why don't they investigate it and get this information before Hyundai now broke this to the?
Can I explain something? There are quite a lot of information on social media. As journalists, we're told and trained not to trust all these informations if there is no source, any verifiable source. Now, if that particular information is about the Nigerian Security Agency, the Nigerian Police Force, about the government, or Secretary General of the Federation, anything, if the information is not coming from them,
they came up with cybercrime law. I know what they're talking about.
It's not supposed. You're not supposed to say anything about it. Recall again that it was a sting operation. This young man was abducted very early in the morning in Rivers, in his hotel. 15 DSS operators, no, let's not say police, because they said it was the Nigerian police. 15 of them in Mufti. And they took him out like he was a criminal. Now, the thing that made everybody worried was he's a private individual. Nobody knows where he stays. So it could be that he traveled. The last particular tweet that he was on that was quite voracious and everybody was like, guy, calm down, oh, this is very indicting, was concerning a trending story of Oba Adeye Ogunwusi, whom he wrote on X, that is involved in a $180,000 romance property and investment scam, and that he even has video evidence. PDOM has also given you are putting yourself in trouble and we are going to expose you. So some persons threatened and said, if you do not desist, unless he wants the wrath of the gods, if he dares talk about their Oba, he will see what is going on. And so these are the persons who are celebrating his captivity now. They're saying they warned him. And they're already infusing some traditional means in abducting this particular apprehension. But my question is this. is PDOM's information that he has been revealing, all the secret documents, are they false? If they are false, is it wrong that he was abducted for peddling fake information?
No, Esther. The one thing I like about PDOM, most of those things he has actually revealed, he always have backup. There are backups. There are sometimes he will say, even if he's caught to prove them, he has, evidences to prove them. That's one good thing about it. When you have such backup and evidences, those things are no longer like rumor or, just to denigrate an institution or person.
Okay.
Because if you cannot back it up, they could sue for libel, But now, this man has all the backup, yet he's picked up. Why won't the federal government even say, okay, let us give him, get to the court. Why don't you sue him to the court? take him to the court and let the court begin to talk of bail.
Okay.
Where has a police station been talking of bail, Esther? When I'm hearing some good millions for him to be bail and sureties, it is the judge that gives all this condition. And then he will have access to a lawyer who will now begin to manage his bail conditions and why he's probably in detention to get it.
Yes.
So I don't know when it has become a police station matter for you to now be talking of civil servant grades as also grade with property as also with locations in Abuja when has it become a police station matter? So these are some of the issues where I'm saying that there are still some shoddy things around it. Let this guy be taken to the court and let him be the cases against him. Let him be read before him by the court of competent jurisdiction, and let him have access to a lawyer, a legal counsel who will be able to take up the matter, and then we will now begin to see more light into this, because we have only heard from the police now. The reason why they even picked him up now, we have not heard the real reason.
No, they said leakage.
Yes, now.
Yes.
We don't know the
documents
particular
that he's not supposed to
there
leak to the press.
We don't know the particular one now that
Yes.
they picked him. One must have triggered this, Esther.
Yes.
Because he has been doing so many.
Yeah, he has been doing so many.
So one must have triggered it. So when this guy is taken to the court, this guy will have an opportunity to talk and be able to tell the world exactly where this matter came off.
It was through this guy's handle that we saw that he wrote that Baba Gana Zulum's son murdered somebody in a particular club in India, and that they are looking for.
In fact, that's one of even the last one.
Before this Oba's own. Exactly. No traditional media carried it because we couldn't authenticate that information. I remember during my news here, I didn't say anything about that information until the governor's media spokesperson.
They just came and debunked it.
He debunked it and distanced himself and said, these are mischievous persons. That was when I read it out here. I could not even say anything because it's coming from a platform that we don't know. He's a whistleblower, unidentified, no location, no address. So you can't use such an information. But a lot of Nigerians are now saying that if the cybercrime unit is this active within the Nigerian police force, why have they not been able to rescue a lot of persons who have been kidnapped? The kidnappers and bandits are actually using TikTok and, advertising money. They're even doing giveaway on TikTok, and that the Nigerian military has not been able to use these supposed tech experts in gathering information to apprehend these nefarious individuals. Others have now said that could this be a collaborative effort between the Nigerian security agencies and these bandits? Is this a business where they have deliberately refused to expose these individuals? Because if the Nigerian security agency wants to work, they will work. You saw how Nnamdi Kanu was brought in, and then with this particular individual. So they are very astute. They have all the equipment. So what precisely sets this one apart? And why all those heinous crimes committed by bandits and Boko Haram, whereby they don't put them in a hole, they're not handcuffed, they're rather de-radicalized, rehabilitated, and reintegrated into the society? So that's the question a lot of Nigerians are asking, that if this kind of vehemence can be taken to apprehend somebody that they think is exposing a lot of leaked documents, then why is this effort not being infused in tracking Boko Haram, who have laid the country savage, who have not been able to allow people go about their businesses, that has made food so expensive in the country?
Esther, the one they have interest in, they go for it. Let me tell you, you and I, there are some people here, they'll tell you, they just withdraw some money from their account unknowingly, you know. The next thing, what they saw was just alert coming into their phones. Get to the bank will tell you they cannot trace it. Why would the same bank use this kind of cybercrime or intelligence officers within the force to trace such things? Those are the things we are talking about now. Then we are talking about the kidnappers. We're talking about even the terrorism in Nigeria. If they want to met this kind of punishment on individual, they go for it to the highest extent. But when it becomes a national issue, they tell you we set up intelligence, investigating team in it. The coppers from Akwa Ibom that were kidnapped August last year, it was just 3 days ago that they finally released the last batch. They released them in batches. What happened for a whole year? That this kind of operation, this kind of intelligence officers that can, carry out this kind of sting operation could not release such intelligence to get these people released. Then look at the killing in Niger State just this week, the 13 farmers, and even one that were killed in Goza about 2 days ago. Today, nobody's talking about it. Look at the Sokoto emir that was killed. Or if there are intelligent people that can bust operations of this nature, they should be empowered to do more on national level, not just using it to met up kind of punishment, unnecessary punishment, or unnecessary to just destabilize one person in the society because they felt he knows more about what is going on within their circle. This kind of person should be encouraged, because Nigerians want to hear information about the government that they voted into power, in quote, voted into power, in quote, that is leading us. So if we have anybody that is telling us what is going on in government, we should actually support him to hear more. Unfortunately, because we cannot get the truth from the government. Today, you see what we are talking about now, what we are facing. By this time last year, the subsidy was just removed. Everybody was like, before the end of the year, after just give this government 1 year, we will now begin to see the gains of the subsidy removal. Are you seeing it now, Esther? What we are even hearing now, that the landing cost is so much that they are even paying subsidy at the back door. If somebody now comes and gives details of that to Nigerians, that this subsidy that we are so told that the remove is not removed, and this is what is going on, they will say information is leaked. But Nigerians want to hear the truth about the government that is leading them. You
had the recent situation with OVH and NNPC.
Yes, that one is still ongoing on. That one is going on. In fact, nobody can penetrate NNPC. What is going on in NNPC is just like a court between the government and NNPC and the
that's Nigeria's oil.
Yes. So we don't know what is going on there. So if somebody now is able to hack in, get information and tell Nigerians the truth, they say information leaked, and that person should be picked.
Are we saying now that we can't speak, especially for journalists, we're not safe? Because I'm sorry, Mr. Elvis, the organization that we represent or we work with, they can't provide you astute protection. The government also is not going to protect you. Even some this job we're doing is very risky, and if it is like this, then what happens? Who ensures the safety of our jobs? We're not properly taken care of. We're not well paid.
We don't even have insurance.
We don't have insurance.
That's wrong.
We're not well paid. You'll be so shocked how much journalists earn.
Yeah.
And that's why you see that a lot of them are being used by government agencies, as you said, because the salary is so paltry. They literally cannot survive on that. So they get themselves involved into any means to survive. And then when they do, some of them are doing this for passion, not necessarily for how much they get, because I don't think their salaries reflect what you see. I remember one of the journalists who was interviewing the NIA DG who resigned. You needed to see the reaction from a lot of persons on X, on social media. They were like, why is he looking ruffled? Why does he look unkept? Oh, he's underfed. He's not well paid. They were saying all manner of things. If only they know actually what journalists go through. It's not as flamboyant as they think.
Esther, let me come in here. Some of us have been in this profession for quite long. We are doing it because of the passion we have for the job. Let's just put it that way. That's number one. Number two, have you not thought of it that why are journalists not getting exclusive stories outside cities like Lagos and Abuja? Go to all these other states in Nigeria. No journalist can come up with an exclusive story because they are just there at the press center.
Yes.
The spokesperson of the government, the chief press secretary, comes and throw a press statement at them, and they copied it and sent to their head office because of the poor nature of the welfare of journalists in Nigeria. they see it as if we go against the government that the state we are, we are going to face a lot of suffering. They will not even be allowed to come into the state house to cover any event any longer. That's why you see exclusive don't come from states.
You remember when X was banned, when Twitter was banned, we had to go through the traditional means of sourcing for information.
Yes.
We wait for them to actually give us press statements. We go ahead to get witness reports of some of those incidents. It was really not easy. It was individuals like this who were giving us out of the cuff information or behind the scenes information because they had
you know
access.
how they labor to get those things.
Exactly.
It's not just an easy thing.
So what do you think will happen to all those people who sent information to this particular young man? Because a couple of persons are asking
that's why the young man is being dehumanized now, so that he can release some names to them. And the same way they know he's close to Huden, that's why Huden is quite popular.
Okay.
They've been able to reach Huden, and because of his intelligence nature in this investigative journalism, he already knew that this is not a call from the so-called friend. Okay. So he has to find a way to answer them, because he knew it was government people that made that call. But this guy, if he's really into this job that we do, he may not begin to release his source, because even after now that he's
it's still ongoing, that she has not been cleared, but she's still active in her office. Betta Edo is still very active in her office.
We've
just not heard per se whatever, but she's active. So the question now is, if some of these rots are ongoing and some persons are exposing it, if you say it's a lie, tell us what the truth
That's
is.
exactly what I'm saying. Tell us the truth. Let him be charged to court. Let him speak through the court and through his lawyer, so that Nigerians will be able to know the truth. Because Nigerians want to know the truth. This is our country. Giving us darkness over those things that are supposed to be opaque to us, to know what the government is all about. It's not helping these issues. That's why nobody is believing. That's what is leading to some of these protests, like this bad government, because the people have so discovered that the government have fed them so much with lies over the years.
Yes.
So even when the government officials are in the radio and television or whatever newspaper making statements, now people say these are just propaganda. So they want to get an independent person that will be able to tell us exactly what is happening in government, and that's what he is doing. So I think the constitutional lawyers, some of them we have in this nation, the civil society organizations should come to his aid and let him be charged to court, and let the court take over the matter, and let Nigerians begin to know where the truth is actually coming from.
Amoyele Sowore is of the note that the Director General of the Nigerian National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Abubakar, resigned over his unwillingness to carry out human rights violations and abuses planned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. He's claiming that Abubakar helped former President Muhammadu Buhari to commit atrocities such as the abduction of the Biafran agitator Nnamdi Kanu, amongst others. He made the claim in response to the arrest of Pidum and Adejuwon Soyinka. Yes, he also stated that they reportedly arrested him and picked him up due to the fact that he had some prior information concerning what's going on within the government. And we do know that based on all of this that transpired, Soyinka is reacting. He's saying just one hashtag end bad governance in Nigeria revolt at official Bat and his goon squad have detained 2,000 protesters, killed 40 peaceful protesters, injured many, including 27 journalists, abducted whistleblowers, raided the offices of the NLC headquarters, and harassed members of their families. And according to what he's saying further, I think this is why the NIA DG resigned, having helped at M. Buhari to commit several atrocities. And he went further to say the darkest days are here, but we must all roundly reject and resist. This is full-blown fascism. Let everyone take a position now. You remember that during the End Bad Governance protest, people were asking, where is he? Now, with what has currently happened, and he has been placed on a watch list, are we saying that if he lands at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, DSS will carry him?
There is no controversy about that.
He'll be uplifted and taken to a permanent site.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not we will make more headlines than what has happened to Peter now, because he has, he's been there before.
Yes.
And he actually got out of the court. Yes. Because the court had not granted him all his enjoying again. And they are waiting for, when the DG or the controller general of immigration said there are some certain people on their watch list that day, and that they are expecting them. My mind just flashed at my very good brother Sowore, that anytime he's coming in, he might be picked. But we are looking at that. But Esther, the truth of the matter is this: when when there is an officer a government officer among them that is not ready to do their bidding, they are ready to frustrate such officer to be out of the system. And to make it look like, oh, we are getting matured in this part of the world, they will say he resigned. We are going to see such things. Remember the former APC chairman, the Baba that just left, Abdullahi Adamu. What were we told? And Omishore, who was the secretary, we were told that he resigned. They were actually bullied out of the office so that they'll be able to bring in the people that will do their bidding. Immediately, the Baba, so-called Baba resigned. Who came in? Ganduje. Ganduje today, we know Ganduje today. I mean, I didn't even hear of any convention that brought in that Ganduje. It was just like picked by the president to come and be there. So when they want to do something, they want to look for people that could do fester their ego in whatever they are doing. They try to bully out the person they know will not cooperate with them and bring in those that will become their stooge. That's what we are just saying.
So are we saying what Madi said is actually the truth?
Absolutely.
Compared to what Showore is describing as
no.
Because Showore is saying that maybe the man refused to get involved or whatever. But Madi gave details of something that transpired since 2017.
The man may not be wanting to do their bidding. Maybe they have seen Nigeria, we will always say body language. They've seen within their circle, they would have seen how he's cooperating with the government, how he's doing with the government. So if such is not really coming the way they want it, they'll ease him out. And the best thing to do is that, okay, resign. I tell you what that you are resigning, so that at least we now begin to look at, see that, oh, this nation is getting mature. People are now resigning, out of, when they feel I'm no longer too relevant in that position. So that's why I just brought in the scenario of Adamu Abdullahi, of former APC chairman, and Omishore, the secretary. That's exactly what we were told too, that he resigned.
So let's look at the situation with the Northerners. You heard Elisha Abbo.
Yeah, I saw him talking.
And the fact that the president is already on a supposed reconciliation effort. A team of persons have been set up along with the vice president to see how that, frayed or strained relationship can be cemented ahead of 2027. Others are saying that, okay, 2027 that is upcoming is still far, but since the North have been saying that they're not happy with what is going on and they may not contest or rather support the APC come 2027, that maybe the president has been advised to go and begin to water the ground. All right, what do you think can come out of this?
War, Esther, is just developing. Let me tell you, Elisha Abbo, he left the PDP and went into APC. And unfortunately, it was even the court that removed him, that he was supposed to still be part of this 10th National Assembly. He said he not gave the president about 63% votes. Okay. That was his. I watched that clip when he was talking. And remember El-Rufai, who the DSS said, it was screened out as a result of the report. They said they got from the DSS, National Assembly screening off as minister. That's still another angle hanging. He's also moving. He has also been talking. So in all this, we are going to see that APC probably before 2027 primaries start coming up. They have a lot of work to do within themselves. Obviously. But I'm also looking at it that some other coalitions are going to come up. But this coalition, like I said, if they are going to do it, they should do it openly. They should do it in such a way that it will not be. They should remove ambiguity and greed. It should be very clear and transparent to Nigerians. Every of these old mediocres, every of these old politicians we have ever known, their names have been at the domain. They shouldn't be clamoring to form presidential candidate of whatever coalition that they come up with. Let them begin to shop for a new name that Nigerians can vouch for, that has integrity. We have known so many names now. Imagine if by 2027 somebody like Atiku Abubakar is still going to say, I want to be president of Nigeria. Will you? In this studio here, we'll begin to analyze him again. Those will not fly. So if they are forming an alliance, they should come up with names, credible Nigerians, younger Nigerians. We are seeing what is happening in America now. Everybody is rallying around her now because they felt he's younger. So we need somebody that will come and do a turnaround, in the political system of this nation. Not these people we have ever known. Then you go and bring one old man again. We know all his antecedents and trajectory over the years, and you want to foster him on there. They will give chance to the APC again for the APC to ride on. So if they are having any coalition, I like what you said, Daddy. The other coalition, is devoid of there's no political boundary. Both PDP, APC, Labour Party, they are out there, but they should shun greed. That's just one of my biggest advice for them. Shun greed and look for a versatile Nigerian that can, have good integrity and good background, that can fly the flag if they eventually succeed in coming up with a coalition to challenge APC come 2027.
It's quite going to be an interesting journey to look to. But I must say that let's be careful of the kind of information that will roll out there. Your activity on social media too, I would implore you to be quite careful. They check all those things, all right? Be very careful. For some of you who intend to jackpot, be also careful of the kind of information you put out there against your government. Or if you don't have any verifiable source, be careful. Oh, that's what I would tell you. As for PDOM, I do hope that due diligence is followed. I do hope that the Nigerian security agencies will be professional in ensuring that they follow through with whatever it is they want to follow through. Because in this instance, he's been asked about his sources. And one of the ethics of journalism is do not disclose your sources. So if he's going to be dehumanized, debased, and all that before for not revealing his source, then what happens? Would he want to do that at the cost of his life? The identity of the persons who give him all this secret information to the detriment of his life?
No, what should be happening now is that everybody should be clamoring that this guy should be charged to court.
That's what
what we should, because I read that we are talking about maybe on Monday they will charge him to court. Let it be that he's charged to court. If he's charged to court, at least the pressure on him will be reduced because it's still within the whether it's police or DSS.
It's still within their another unit.
It's still within their cell now. It can be demonized, it can be demoralized here. It can be dehumanized here. But if he's charged to court and he gets a court remind, probably it's okay, we are not granting you bail, should be reminded in so place. At least all this pressure will a little bit reduce on him. We have seen Showore has gone through this too before when during that time he said revolutionary hashtag revolution now, So then we are also asking who are those people behind him, try to sponsor the revolution.
David Hunde keeps tweeting and giving updates. He has tweeted at US in Nigeria, France in Nigeria, UK in Nigeria, Germany in Nigeria, at African Union, at Human Rights. This is how at Official Bats, your best friend in Abuja deals with civilian whistleblowers. And that's based on a report that PDOM Nigeria denied access to legal team to be transferred to dark site. And that's by the westafricaweekly.com. That particular story is there. And when David Hunde posted it, he said that he's been denied access to his legal team. And so what next is for them to transfer him somewhere else. We are actually worried if that's the truth. We don't know how true this information he's actually putting out there is.
My only worry is that this tweet is coming from Ole Hunde. It's not coming from other.
Well, you know that he was contacted. He was the one who made all of these things, who exposed all of these things. He was the one who actually exposed all of these things. So he's the one that has been given the beat by beat information on what has been going on, concerning this particular situation. And I think that's the reason why the other guy that was, taken into custody this morning was also swiftly released, because that's the ideal thing to do. If they take you in, ask you questions, and you're able to respond appropriately, you're allowed to go home. According to the other journalist, he was even put in an Uber by the assistant DG at the DSS quarters in Ikoyi to go home. So I think that's basically what it's supposed to be, right? But again, a couple of people feel that is this a way to mute the call for another protest? Amayele Showore and a couple of other organizers are saying that on the 1st of October, they intend to go on another protest. So with all of this going on, do you think this will hamper that from taking place?
No, definitely the protests, if they want it to go on, it will go on, because these are even some of the things, these are some of the infractions, these are some of those clamping down on people that have even resorted to this protest, this gangsterism from government on the people they are supposed to be serving. It's even part of those things that is leading to this protest. I will even advise the government, to train softly, so that this kind of thing will not, result to another protest, because these guys have said by October or thereabout they are going to come up with start another protest. But if they see more of this now, it will even gear them up more, because one would have expected that even after the end of this first one, 1st to 10th of August, government should have been coming into dialogue, try to meet, even though they call them faceless, but they have some names. Try to see how they can meet these people and begin to talk of how they can actually ameliorate the suffering of Nigeria. Because as we see, nothing has happened. We just saw that the Cadillac car The president has just bought that. We saw that the new jet has just arrived. These are the profligacy that Nigerians are talking about, that the government need to reduce, so that you and I, Esther, as common persons in this nation, could feel the impact of the government that we voted into power. Unfortunately, since even the end of the NSAS, the end bad governance, we are seeing government doing much more flamboyant things. So it's so sad.
All right. It's time for us to take your phone calls at this moment. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903. The WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. 0817 1756 338. That's the WhatsApp number. And the number to call is 0700 903 903 903. So I appreciate you for you to call now. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you? Hello?
Good evening, yes, sir.
Yes, good evening. How are you? Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please. You have a minute.
I'm fine.
Hello?
Hello, I just name from Badagi.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, sometimes when we listen to information sometimes I think is it necessary? Is it necessary?
What is necessary, sir? Hello?
Okay, like the forming a coalition against government and planning of 2027. We are not.
Okay, your line is bad.
Muffled.
It's very muffled. Are you using an earpiece?
Hello?
Yes. Go ahead now. I think you sound better now. Continue, please.
Yeah. The way the guy you played the video clip that was talking of coalition or whatever.
Elisha Abo, okay.
It's a discussion. I'm seeing it as a discussion. That you whatever they are doing,
this is on journalists
All right.
in Nigeria. You see, the problem we have is that there's a saying that critics doesn't make good journalists, doesn't make good
Okay.
doesn't perform good in governance. There's a saying that critics don't voice in government. We know how far he criticized Goodluck Jonathan or Basanjo. He was constantly battling and fighting them, calling them names and all that. And today it is his turn. We see how bad Nigeria have become, and we want to make sure that all of us are silent. It doesn't end there. I put the ball to those who supported him last year, those who said he was the best, he built Lagos from scratch and all that. And from 1999 to 2007, what are those major projects that impact life, apart from taxing people, which he has now taken to the federal level? So he has taxed all his life. He have mastered the act of being the what I call it, the city, the living room slave. You know, the living room slave have a way of, he's a slave, by the way, among other slaves, but he's the one controlling the other slaves. So we are being exploited for the interest of some other Westerners who dish order to him where he go for a medical care. So he's acting as a boss here. Over there, he's a puppet.
You think so?
You see the problem? Yeah, definitely. He's a puppet over there. He took the instruction, but here is the boss here. So Nigeria is more like a slave camp. Nigerians should understand that what happened last year have taken the little sovereignty, the little right we have as citizens, and it has gone forever. That's what I was telling people. We don't know what we're into. We're into a very deep mess in Nigeria. A very deep one.
We will get out of it, sir. We promise to get out of it. Let's take more calls. You have taken 2 minutes now.
You see, okay, sorry about that. We are strategizing. Look at Justice Kekere. Injustice Kekere, if I'm to say, can't call such justice. It's not justice. We all know what happened.
She's the highest ranking judicial officer, so that's why, she was given that.
Ranking, but we know how they have impacted our life. If it's high ranking, our tax is being used to pay them. So we have right to speak to them. They work for us. We don't work for them. In Nigeria, is the other way around. Our tax is being used to pay them, so they should do what is ought to do. But they are not Lord over us. They decide who live and who die, even when you are innocent. You see, someone like him, not only
all right, thank you, please. You've actually exceeded, all right. Hello, good evening, welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Hello, Esther Wachuku.
How are you, sir? Good evening.
Fine, thank you. And good evening to your colleague here.
My analyst in the studio, yes,
Good evening,
Mr.
sir.
Elvis Alimehele.
Thank you very much. Let me hello.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, my name is Peter Ustifo. I'm calling from Abarajani Kotum. In fact, I've listened from three people.
All right, sir.
To the end, and I would have loved to react to the last statement your guest made
Okay.
concerning, the protest, the last protest, for bad governance. In which he said after that protest that he would have expected the government to have invited the people concerned, some journalists concerned, and know what is actually the problem. But he retorted immediately by saying that the next protest, which somebody like Sowore has said that it may come up in sometime in October. He retorted by saying that, in fact, till now, that the government has not reacted positively to the reasons for the last protest. That's true. That is very true, because they are still very, very close to it. View of what has been happening, the purchase of the presidential jet, the car, and so on and so forth. So he has not shown the president has not shown any reason that he's of governance. And of course, it's not yet in the system, are still kind of hunger and starvation. So I believe that this protest, the next protest, may be very much radical and very, very much devastating. Yes, not take it. The president should not take us for a ride. He should be on his toes by now, the way I'm saying it. To be kept on his toes and, hear masses. We are suffering. This is not the time to clamp down on journalists, which, in fact, he has benefited from when he was not in power during the military days. You understand? Though I think had been issue before the protest. Hello?
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, because that there may be tensions after the protest. That is the amount to regime change or revolution. But thank God that's what it does.
All right. Hello, Peter. You've exceeded 1 minute, okay? Thank you. You're already on 2 minutes 41 seconds. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Please let's be able to say what we want to say in a minute, so we can take as many calls as possible. All right. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
All right. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. I'm going to be reading out some WhatsApp messages now. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you? Hello. 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 All right. I don't think this person knows I picked his call. Okay, so let me read some messages right about now. Good evening, Esther. You can't govern by lies. Eye service, propaganda, and hypocrisy and expect it to prosper. It won't. It's glaring like daylight that the foundation that brought this government into power is not very incredible. This government was given a blank check. All right, it's like you put in, okay, I'm not going to read the whole of this. I'm so sorry. These are very sensitive times. Good evening, Esther Wachukwu, our guest in the studio. I'm really afraid of this current administration. We can't feed well. We can't speak our mind. We can't protest when the need arises. Yet we all claim that we are in a democratic era. Real governance is about service to the people and not selfish nor self-centered ideology. Soft touch from Idimo. Thank you so much, soft touch. Good evening, Esther Wachukwu, our guest in the studio. The last protest didn't really yield much result because of the demoralization that many protesters suffered from the government. I was part of the protest on the second day and I did the work of a reporter, but now I'm scared because of this continued untamed bureaucracy in Lagos. This coming planned protest should be focus driven on a particular subject matter. The government should not sponsor anti-protesters, otherwise they should be held responsible for any violence. James Obunna from Oshodi. Thank you so much, James, for that. Good evening, VOP. The change Nigeria needs now is to change change the change. Harry Ogada from Pangrove. Esther, are you complaining about your salary? I be make we swap. Well, today bye. 0700 903 903. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you, Godfrey?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Name and location, please.
Yeah, Germany. I'm Aziz from Germany.
Okay.
Yeah. Please, Esther Wachu, is there any difference between this regime and Sani Abacha's regime? Honestly, there is none. Honestly. Because what happened under Abacha is what is happening now. But even under Abacha, there was security. There was food sufficiency. Under Abacha. Under Abacha, you could enter from Jos late in the night, and in the morning you are in Onacha. There was nothing like all these bandits, all these kidnappers, all these unknown gunmen. Under the military, how much was Naira, and under this civilian regime, how much is Naira against the dollar? Let me tell you, honestly, I'm sorry to saying that democracy is not meant for sub-Saharan Africans, honestly, because it's not only in Nigeria. If you look at everywhere in sub-Saharan Africa, maybe excluding South Africa that is a little bit, mild, but other places in sub-Saharan Africa, you have all, tyrannies, tyrannical regimes wearing civilian clothes, but they are worse than dictators, than military regime. Look at what is happening in Uganda. Look at what is happening in Cameroon. Everywhere in Togo, everywhere in sub-Saharan Africa is just anarchy. These people, we cannot practice things. I think Obasanjo was right. We need to, create our own kind of, system of governance, because democracy is just not for sub-Saharan Africa. And finally, this young man that was picked. Yes. I'm sorry for him. I'm very sorry. But I could remember when Nandekane was kidnapped from Kenya. This young man was also applauding the government for doing very good.
You mean PDOM Nigeria?
Yes. Okay. Even David Honde that is now on the run. All of them applauded Buhari for doing a good job that Nandekane was trying to destabilize Nigeria. Look, let me tell you, Bible says rejoice when your brothers are rejoicing and mourn when your brothers are mourning. This guy, I'm sorry for him. I wish him good luck, and I wish that government should release him. But this guy was very happy that Nandekane was extraordinary, rendition back to Nigeria, and David Honde too. David Honde wrote a very horrible article about Nandekane and IPOB, and these people today are on the run. The chicken has come to roast. Good night from here.
All right,
thank you, sir.
Night. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right, 0700 903 903 903. What's your name, please? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Michael.
Michael, good evening. How are you? You don't sound happy. Can you speak louder? Can you project better?
My name is Michael. Is it clear now?
Yes, it's clear now. Thank you, Michael. What's your location, please? Hello, Michael.
You see, yes, I'm calling from Abuja.
All right, Michael, go ahead. You have a minute.
You said your salary is more. I want to ask, are you a member of the...
Am I a member of what? Hello?
No, are you a member?
Of what?
Are you a member of NUJ? Are you a member of NUJ?
Nigerian Union of Journalists. Yes, I am.
You should get resign. Get rid of...
I should what?
Because your organization... Get rid of your membership because they are not fighting for you people. So, it is the problem.
Okay. All right, thank you.
They are not fighting for you people. It's the problem. Hold on, I'm not done. For gentleman who called from Germany, you see, he mentioned that those two men, we are writing against Namdekano. Now they are testing. See, they are evil because it does not affect you. It will come back to.
Hello.
That's why we say hatred. It's very.
No, he said he apologized. He said he feels what he's going through and he prays he gets through it, but that, they also wrote same stuff against him.
My problem with you is that you don't allow you do you like hearing your voice too much?
You said what?
You don't allow them to talk.
Hello?
Do you enjoy hearing your
Hey.
voice too much? Even your problem.
Hello?
More than the best.
Hello?
The line has gone off.
It's barely audible. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you? Hello? Wow, we're beginning to have connection issues. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. How are you? Hello, how are you? Yes, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, fine. This is Nakawawa calling from Ajambadi.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, I want to make a return that last time I called, it was not you people that I'm saying you people are mad. It was the network I was using. You are talking with Ogada in that day.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you, my text this night is on the
are you using earpiece to talk?
Huh?
Are you using an earpiece?
No, I'm not using earpiece.
It's coming faint.
It's very faint. Go ahead, please.
Let him project.
It's the network. That's the problem we have here. So what I'm saying is that the people that are going to destroy the illegal refineries in the River State, they should be ashamed of themselves. You cannot do refinery. These people are producing oil. They want to give us refinery. Why not call them and ask them how they are building this refinery? Since the federal government cannot build the refinery. Right from Jonathan, they have been destroying these people equipment, killing them. And those people mining precious stone in the jobs, they never go to kill them. So I don't know the problem we're having in this country. These people are owner of oil. They don't refine it and show you that one person can do refinery. Some people do refinery. They say they cannot give you food oil. What is happening? Let's just tell ourselves truth. Who is controlling this country? I don't know. So the other one that the man they arrested, the girls they arrested, it has been happening since. What I want Nigerians to do now is to charge police for kidnapping. Because they want to kidnap this man. Whatever they are doing to kidnap us, they do it to Nigerian police and Nigerian government. Because they are accomplice to kidnap us. If this man never reviewed the secrets from UK, how will you know that this man has been with police for how many days now? This is what is happening to journalists, even people that prominent men in this country, some of them. Police go and carry them. Nobody knows about them. Some of them, they will kill them, put them inside lagoon, put them inside any place they like. They will say like kidnappers. Go to South East. Police are killing many people. I think are killing many people there. They should charge them for kidnapping. That is my take.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Let me read some of your YouTube messages. Pastor Vanity Van Gels, I'm listening from heaven, and I'll tell you that we in heaven is not happy with happenings in Nigeria. Our advice most Nigerians
from heaven, Esther.
Ugo Bueze says, I think the network problem should be from your station connection. This is a different caller. Yeah, okay. Prince Will Ubika says, this government should try the best to save Nigerians. All right, thank you so much for your messages. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. How are you?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. Yes, sir. Name and location, please.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Shisha.
All right, sir. Go ahead.
Please, our lawmakers, they are not doing us well, though, because I don't see why people will be treating their people as if they are not among the citizens. Why is it like that? What happened? What did Nigeria do wrong by going out to do protests, peaceful protests? Why are they treating people? Why are they treating us like this? Is it fair? So how do we show our anger? How do we show that things is not going well? In what form? What do Nigeria do? What do Nigerian people do? What are those people that up there? Can't they see that we are suffering? In what form again do they want us to do it? How? The way they are doing these things now is trying to obstruct some people. It's causing more problems. Please, you go up there. People to help us. Let them know that we are all together. And let them remember that everybody here is suffering. Please, what we need is peace in Nigeria, and let everybody have their equal rights. Please, that's all. That's what I want to tell you.
Thank you very much, sir, for calling. God bless you. For some of you who have actually called to actually really address the issues, I want to say thank you very much for that. Mr. Elvis, what do you have to say while we round off?
Yeah, I just want to appeal to this government, especially President Ahmed Tinubu. All what is going on in Nigeria now, he went through them during the military era. And he knows how he and his Nadeko brothers, were so much on the military that gave birth to this democracy we are enjoying today. So his government must tread on rule of law.
Okay.
His government must respect the people. The people owns this democracy, which he rightly fought for. A situation where he is a commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and we are seeing all these infractions around the armed forces, picking up journalists, picking up innocent persons, I mean, it's an aberration. I think if he was in opposition, he would not even allow this to happen. He would have criticized it. So if it's that they are shielding the president from hearing all this, the president should devise a means to have external ears to hear the feelers from the street and be able to act appropriately. That's just my advice for him.
Mr. Elvis Ali Mihela, I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to share your perspective on some of the issues that we've actually talked about on the political spotlight. Like I said earlier, on the political spotlight, we divest these issues as they are, and we ask the questions that Nigerians are asking, and that's why you have an analyst in the studio who gets to explain to us what some of these intricacies are, the story behind the story, or what exactly is going on beyond the information that is being reeled out to us. Nothing personal. We will try as much as possible to be objective, to be upfront with some of the stories and information that we reel out here. We must also remember that we are human beings. We must be careful too, especially for some of us who actually sit on this platform to talk, because like I said, we are not protected, but the passion for the job is what enables us to do what we do, and we're the fourth estate of the realm. We're meant to hold the government accountable to the people. The government should please try as much as possible to always respect our fundamental human rights. If at all you need to take anybody in for questioning, go through the protocol, be the professional that you say you are in going about your activities, and then try as much as possible to be on the same page with the people. Be transparent. That's what Nigerians are asking you to do. Be transparent in your policies, be transparent in your intentions. Let what you are saying reflect in your actions, in your deeds. When that inconsistency is so obvious, that's where Nigerians begin to clamor and say, what exactly are you taking us for? All right, my name is Esther Machiko. Once again, thank you for those of you who called, and I'm so sorry if we couldn't take some of your calls or read out some of your messages. Unfortunately, the network was very poor in some instances, so we sincerely do apologize. All right, social media handle, Mr.
Elvis Ali Mihela across all social media.
All right, Mr. Elvis. Esther Machiko, Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQ MEDIA on Twitter, and on Instagram, Esther Umaz, Esther Machiko. To have yourselves a wonderful evening. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.